Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to KritzKast. The season may be over, but we have one more bit of business to do. And that is, of course, to hand out the awards to the best players of the season. We're going to do a quick recap over ETF2L's 14th season of Highlander, take a look at the Premiership division, and see how the teams fared, whether they lived up to our preseason expectations. We'll also be handing out the awards for the best player on each class and the overall MVP of the season. I'm CeeJaey, and I'm joined by a host of talent today. I have got, representing Failure Esports, their sniper, Cloudy. We also have, representing SCCK, former leader and engineer, Clark. Representing Lucrosa, we have leader and heavy extraordinaire, Cronk. We also have, representing the casters, Domaytoe. And we also have, blessing us with his presence, our very own head admin, Mr. Stinson out. He'll be revealing the awards for us. How's it going, everybody? Give us a little hi.
Mega excited to be here.
Mega excited. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. So just to go over the season, guys. Premiership finished a few weeks ago now, and Strong Opinions came back after a couple of seasons being beaten down by SCCK to win their fourth title. They beat Failure Esports in the final, SCCK finishing in third position. We also had Envision and Lucrosa tied for points lower in the table, while Tourette's Chess Club struggled a little bit, coming back for another return, their second return. But in the end, finishing bottom of the table with very few points indeed. So that's probably one of the surprises, maybe one of the talking points over the season. But I'm going to start off by, I'm going to talk to Cloudy, as you are representative of the runners-up. Failure Esports have been around for a long time now. I remember playing against them in like Season 6. They've been in Prem for a few seasons now. You were kind of a new addition to their roster this season. You obviously won a bunch of titles with Strong Opinions. Coming into the season, like, Failure won UGC Platinum, which we can argue wasn't as strong as it has been in the past. But you had some good scrim results. So what were your expectations coming into the season? Did you think winning was a possibility? Did you think you'd get as far as you did?
Well, the goal for me coming into the season was just making playoffs. I think, like, top 3 I would be happy with. But, like, as we started practicing and we started beating, like, good teams, it began to dawn on me that we're actually pretty good. So I wasn't coming into the season, like, I'd already taken a break, so I wasn't particularly, like, I was just having like a chill season. But as we started to win, and I like began to like get more keen, and everybody on the team was getting really keen, so it was really fun to play. It wasn't just like we showed up and we left, like we kind of made friends and stuff. So it was cool. I'm surprised we got to the final, and it was like so close. I'm surprised how close it was. In my opinion, after playing Prem for quite a long time, it's been one of the most competitive seasons we've had so far.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the final is probably one of the closest finals. We've had some close finals recently, but to go to 3 maps and have the final map go to 3-2 on a Koth map has got to be pretty much as close as it gets. So once you guys got into the playoffs, you said that was your target, and you saw that SCCK are above you, Strong Opinions were above in first. Like, did you think this is job done? Or at that point, did you think, actually, we've got like one foot in the door here, we can go all the way? Was that at that point everyone started to get a little bit hyped up?
It was once we beat an SDCK, at least for me personally, I thought we'd won the season when we beat SDCK. I thought it was over. I didn't think Strong Opinions would be as close, as good as this, because like they hadn't practiced, and those like they just seemed like such a relaxed team that didn't want to like try so hard. But we were like, yeah, we were mega keen to do it, so people didn't really lose focus after SDCK. It just sort of motivated us further, but the final went like it did. But I'm still proud of how we all played. It was really good.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people are impressed. Like, not just individually. Obviously got some very good players, but as a team, you guys played really well together. But I agree with what you said there. Like, Strong Opinions, coming from my point of view as a player, we didn't really scrim throughout the season, so I'm not surprised at how close some of our games were when we didn't really prepare ourselves maybe as as well as we should have. I think if we'd had the semi-final to play, maybe that would have been something. But going into the final, I think some people maybe were quite confident, and then in that second map, which you took off us on Coal Plant, we were kind of like, oh, okay, we really need to wake ourselves up here because we're one map away from losing this. And yeah,
banking on the first seed curse.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, first seed curse. I mean, it happened last season, and it's again you kind of have to keep that concentration. But we'll come to Clark. Played for SCCK this season. You guys won the past 2 seasons, seasons 12 and 13. Coming into this season, like, did you feel you had the potential to make it 3 in a row?
We had the potential, but I don't think we had the abilities and the skill set, to be fair. Because some people switched their classes, some people were off to army, like the man went to the army. So we picked up Granger, who hasn't played in Prem on Spy for a very long time. Although he did perform admirably, I'd say. But yeah, we did think we would make playoffs, but after that it was kind of like 50-50, you know.
So what was it kind of during the season? Because I know I kind of compared it similarly to a Strong Opinion season 12, where we were on a roll, winning a few seasons, and then we came into the season, we just kind of went through the motions, and then as the season went on, players left, people stopped kind of putting in effort. Was that would that be kind of an accurate kind of representation, or was there other issues that kind of stopped you at the final hurdle?
Well, it's interesting you mention season 12, because I think it was the best season we've had as SDCK. Like, as a whole, as a team, I think that was the best roster we've had. I think it was the best season we've had. I think, yeah, that was the season we didn't lose a single point during the season. So, yeah, there are some issues this season. I'm not going to mention them for drama, although I know Cloudy wants me to be a drama queen today. But I'm not, I'm not going to do that. But, yeah, we've had some issues, especially coming into the playoff game against Pila. We didn't practice much for it, but we kind of thought we would win. Like, we didn't really think we'd lose, especially not in 2 maps. But we had to use two subs. We had to use Elikor and Credu, who are our subs, but who literally never played with us on those particular maps, though they did play with us on other maps. And we missed Sandwich, who was absent. So yeah, we had to use Elikor and Demo, and I already mentioned it before, but you can't really expect to win on Steel against a team like Fila, who scrims a lot and practices a lot, and like expect to come out as winners on that map.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree, and I would go further and compare Fela this season to you guys in season 12 with the amount of practice that was put in, and it does show that, you know, the practice that you put in does get the results. You come out of it, and you do see that team cohesion. And yeah, in that semi-final, Fela looked very strong. But those were the playoff teams. So we're going to come down to the next team now. Envision and Lucrosa finished equal on points. I'm not sure actually who finishes above. I mean, I'm sure Stinson at some point might let us know, or the admins will let us know on the page. But seeing as Cronk's here, we're going to talk about Lucrosa. Cronk, first season in Prem, debutants. Coming into the season, what was your aim? Was your aim, hey, we could squeeze into playoffs, or was your aim, let's just not get relegated? Because I mean, usually that's the kind of the 50-50 that newly promoted teams kind of aim for.
Yeah, going into the season, like, we had no idea how good we were gonna do. Obviously, opinions were gonna be the top with SCCK, but then we had some close scrims against Fail and stuff in the beginning, but they were like one step ahead of us pretty much all the time. So our aim was getting 4th. Yeah.
So kind of with the end of the season, looking back, are you satisfied with the results? Are there any games that you look back on and you think, actually, we could have won that, we should have won that? Were any games where you thought we were lucky there? Do you think where you finished was kind of an accurate representation of the Lucrosa performance this season, or do you think you could have done, you know, maybe a little bit better?
Well, you can always find like stuff you can do better, of course, but generally, I say we did what was expected of us and what we thought was possible. Like, for example, when we played you guys, Strong Opinions on Steel, I think we could have done better, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, to be fair, you guys did very well. For a new team coming into Prem, it's often quite daunting to come up against the teams that are available, because this was a season where there were a lot of still established teams. And of course, we had a chess club returning. And so we're going to talk about Envision next, actually. I'm going to bring Domaytoe into this, as you've cast a lot of games this season. You've got a lot of insight. Envision were another of the teams that was promoted. They finished runners-up last season in High, but made it through the preseason playoffs after, got to say, about 4 seasons now. They've been trying to get into Prem through kind of High and stuff like that. And they finally made it in. How would you kind of rate their first season? How do you think they did? Do you think it was accurate? Do you think they could have done better? I mean, a lot of people were saying that they were a possible playoff team at one point.
Well, as you just said, they tried some seasons to get in Prem a bit, so they like changed their roster up in something again when they actually like hit Prem this time. Took them. But like I wouldn't say it's a bit hard to say that they were like playoff contestants. I don't know what people you asked, CeeJaey. Probably people from Envision who said that they could make playoffs, because it was kind of hard. Like they were not a bad team, like in any way. The main issue was just, if you look at these like top 3 teams, Strong Opinions, Failer, and obviously SDCK, then they were just kind of on another level at some point. Like Envision were not like bad or anything. Like they were solid, I would say, like mid bottom Prem maybe. But I would say the real breaking point was just to see how they compared to Lucrosa this season, because like kind of new teams. I mean, if you just leave out Chess Club a bit, then I would say it's a fair representation, actually. I mean, I think they do get demoted next season or something. So maybe
Envision.
They're out, baby.
Yeah,
I think
Cronk is really happy about it.
I think if you're in the bottom 2, then you want to go to Prem again, you have to go through the preseason playoffs. Yeah,
maybe Singen can fool some players again with like Mercs or something to get into Prem. But in essence, I don't know. I think it could be hard. I don't know. Like always, there are a lot of teams just going for these preseason Prem playoffs. I think they could do it, but I think in general, I don't think they will definitely not be content with their placement. I think 4th would be better for them, but I think it is definitely a fair representation of like what was to be expected.
Yeah, I think Envision were actually, I don't know, I don't think they performed as well as they should. Like, they had some really good players, like Koffs. Did they have Tommy?
Tommy 27,
Yeah,
dude.
Tommy 27.
Legendary Tommy.
Oh, individually, they're amazing.
Tommy is really good. Like, he's like the most annoying player to play against, but that's a good thing, I guess. They had did they have Hugo? Was Hugo playing for?
He left for Costa to main for Individual.
Well, he kind of got caught, but you know.
Yeah,
I mean, their roster,
Well,
when you take a look at it, they had Thazu on scout as well. He's a high scout in 6s. I think his team was near enough Prem last season. They knocked out in the High final. They had 2 drawn heavy.
Two guys are awesome.
And they had Ixo as well, but
Hugo had some good, like,
Ixo was demo. Yeah,
he left.
so they had the players. I could just guess the results weren't there. I mean, I'm just bring that into the other team that we had, the only final team that we haven't actually talked about yet, which was Tourette's Chess Club. Tourette's obviously Chess Club. Tourette's French Club. I mean, I'm still going to call them Chess Club. You guys can all just shove it where the sun don't shine. It's Chess Club by any other name. But no, they obviously they're one of the greatest teams of European Highlander. I mean, they won back-to-back titles, 7 and 8. Season 9, they got to the final. So, you know, they were a strong team. That's when they fell apart. They came back in season 11. Season 11, again, they got to the final before there was that infamous default win in the grand final. Season 12, they managed to get to the semi-final. So they've always been one of the top teams. They didn't come back for season 13, remade for season 14, and they had this roster which it had Kazul on it. He's the last surviving member from the old team. But then they had players like Kresnik on heavy and Ascendary on pyro, 2 players who managed to help Premtech to a grand final back in season 7 or 8. They had, I think it was Olga, they had Tracker, they had Raf, Cobbs, again, all players who've got decent experience at a high Prem level, and Nursey even came in at one point as well. But their results were kind of, well, they were awful. They lost their week 1 game to Lucrosa, which, you know,
Correct.
yeah, I mean,
Actually, no.
Yeah,
Well,
he
I
was
mean-
great in
Maybe
sixes. He was
demo.
great in sixes, but then he switched to Hounder, and then
Because we don't have good.
He's
The
bombed
issue
in all the
was,
time, did nothing.
Teams wasn't the issue. I think
he was, though.
the Putus man was the issue.
What? No.
I think he actually did really well for them, Kresnik. That was.
Kresnik
was a god,
I
dude.
don't think
Eames was
so.
trash.
I really don't think so.
Well,
Did you see the
regardless-
logs? He got
regardless
like
of,
5 frags.
moving on to talk about
Mm.
actual chess club results. I mean, their first 2 weeks, they lost to Lucrosa and Vision. And with all due respect to those teams, they were the 2 promoted teams. And for a team that was coming back and expected to do really well and, you know, to challenge for the title, to kind of get beaten 6-0 and 4-2 in your first 2 weeks didn't really bode well for them. The only other points they picked up was in the final week. They picked up a round against Strong Opinions, which netted them 2 points for Badwater weeks. But that was 4 points for the whole season. They had a lot of roster changes. People left the team. People were replaced. And that was kind of, they finished bottom of the table. But I mean, Domaytoe and anyone else really, kind of, what was your opinion on Chess Club? Because I mean, at the start of the season, there was a lot of drama about the seedings in the playoffs, the preseason playoffs. You know, did they
Oh,
deserve
right,
to be?
yeah.
Fucking
that was
blood,
yeah.
this man.
But do you think? What do you think was the major? Because the players we've talked about are
All good
obviously
players.
incredibly good players.
Yeah.
What happened that made Chess Club finish bottom?
I think kind of what you mentioned, maybe the breaking point was maybe the first 2 weeks, kind of a bit like they have really good players if you just look at it, and I think the players actually performed and stuff. But the main issue is even nowadays in Prem you kind of need synergy, and I think it was just not quite there for them.
Yeah, they don't have a stable roster
Yeah.
for any of the game. I think every game they used a different roster. Like even class-wise, people switched classes. Like Olga, I think, played both Sully and Scalp and Pyro. All 3 classes, I think he played.
Kresnik was the problem.
I think he did well for them. Like he main called good, I think.
He made goal.
Kresnik is a great.
Did you watch his stream?
I only know that he twitches like completely insane player, but
If you watched him
he called
stream,
good.
you'll say
I
it's
don't
not
know.
good. He just shouts and screams and shit talks his team whilst they can't.
I don't know about
he
that.
didn't have his heart in it, and he didn't. So he didn't give anyone any.
It does raise the question when you kind of build a brand new team and you've got a lot of older players, more experienced players, I should say, perhaps, and you have to maybe question the enthusiasm of all of those players. I know it is a kind of a cycle where you get new teams that are really keen. They want to practice, they want to do scrims, they want to do map talks, demo reviews. But then when you've got players who've done it all, maybe that kind of extra edge of enthusiasm is there. Maybe that was the issue with a couple of the players they brought in. I don't really know. We didn't really play them very much, but yeah, perhaps that was an issue. But if they want to come back, which I'm not sure that they will, based on a lot of people leaving the roster, who knows? Who knows? They might be back. But they won't be back in Prem next season. We're going to just have to take a look. Yeah, we'll take a look at Prem next season. We know that 2 of the top 3 teams are not returning. Strong Opinions and SDCK are looking to move on to newer pastures. Cloudy, will Failer be coming back for season 15?
I believe so. I won't be there.
Oh, so you expect there's going to be some roster changes, basically.
Yeah, they got a
Oh,
better
yeah,
sniper.
surprise on Failer.
Yeah, it's the classic failure. Joe's a big fan of picking up a bunch of players and making them
You mean
good,
cutting?
and then they go and do. Nah, Joe doesn't cut people. To be honest, with Joe for a season was really. He plays the game so differently to everybody else.
Mhm.
It's because I went through this with Emilio. When I started playing with Emilio, he has this different outlook on the game, and it's quite hard to get used to initially. And
That's
Joe's-
why they couldn't play together in the English
Yeah.
national team.
Exactly. And Joe's the same. It's a mantra you have to get used to, and once you get there, it works well. Yeah, people always move on and do better things. like quit.
It's kind of like the go-to for some people, I think. Just like they pick up new players, so they actually like enable people to actually play in Prem or something. Just pick up new players.
Yeah, they don't mind dropping down a div to sort of work on it as long as they're happy playing with each other, it works. And I think that's
Okay. Cronk, talking about Lucrosa, are you coming back for next season?
Heck yeah, my dude. Still in, boys.
Still in. Is your team going to be pretty much the same, or are you going to be making any changes? Do you know?
Yeah, like Andrew has left to play on a better team, it seems. So got a new sniper, best instead. I think we're only changing sniper, pyro, and scout. I think that's the only changes.
Okay. So keep an eye out for Lucrosa. Maybe coming back stronger next season, Clark.
Maybe. They will come back stronger.
Who are you getting on Pyro? I want to know.
Me?
Pyro?
Us?
Yeah, yeah.
We don't know yet. Doing some
was the
trials,
Pyro?
trials this weekend.
I saw, yeah. You joined the roster. I mean,
no, Yayo, that's the trump card here. He's the scout, man. He's not the pyro.
Shot game.
Clark's SDK aren't coming back. It looks like there is a new team led by Adiski and Sandburn with some familiar faces. But you yourself will be coming back maybe for Prem next season with a rejuvenated team. Do you want to shed any light?
Oh yeah, so Wasp is making its awaited comeback, hopefully into Prem and not in High. But yes, we have some good players that used to play for Wasp come back. Morgan Sniper.
You can't just say good players. Come on, give us a roster. Scout.
Full roster, boys.
Okay, so Light Claw on Scout, Demo on Soldier. On Pyro we have DQZ, who was former Soldier. Demo Detote. On Heavy we have Catman, me on NG, Sprayer on Medic, Morgan Sniper, and Nimbo on Spy. That's the roster.
Catman,
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, man,
wait, how many of those are from the old Wasp though? 2?
Yeah.
Morg, Catman, and Detote. And Imba, I think, as well. I think so. It's 4.
What?
Today,
Oh.
Yeah, so it's 4 players from Wasp, from old Wasp.
Nice.
We could have a Wasp back since season 11 was it, or season 10 was the last
Season 10,
time?
I think.
Season 10, yeah.
It's been a
Collapses come
while.
back?
It's been a while.
It's been a while for Collapses.
Yeah.
I'm more
Wow.
excited about the comeback.
I'm just going to give this out to the floor, but does anyone know if Envision are planning on kind of trying to get back into Prem if they have to go through preseason playoffs?
They will. They'll
They
definitely
would have to
play
go
that.
to preseason playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, but they will do that. They will do that
You
You
because
think so?
yeah,
They lost,
yes,
they lost their
They have
demo, right?
experience with that.
They lost their demo, I think.
Yeah,
That's
but
most committed
it's
player.
fine. Like they have Stinkan as a manager, so they will go into playoffs again.
Yeah.
Like, who are they gonna get on demo now, though?
Look, you gotta
Like
give it
Thursday?
to him. You gotta give it to him. Like they tried for so many times and they failed so many times. Mainly, like some were admin problems. But yeah, that did get in eventually. So big kudos to Stinkan and the rest of Envision for making it into Prem.
Okay, and we got one team we do know is going to be in Prem next season because they won high, and that is Budget Toucans, who a couple of seasons since we last saw them in the Premiership division, they beat what's it called, Deaf and Blind in the final, I believe, in the grand final of high. So they'll be back into Prem. They tried to get into Prem for this season through the preseason playoffs, but lost out. But they will be back for season 15. It's fairly similar roster. We do see the familiar names: Mackie, Shaggy, V-Clocks, etc. What do you guys think about Budget Toucans? Do you think this time they're going to be playoff contenders? Do you think they've learned from their past experiences?
Well, to be fair, in season 11 it was really, really close. I mean, it's been some time. I know that they played season 12 as well, and I don't think this was that close, actually. I think they only won one game or something, but now I think they have the. It really depends on what the other teams are looking at, because I kind of followed them still playing, and I would say they might end up in the same situation maybe as Envision ended up this season, but it is really hard to say because it really depends on how good the other teams are forming currently and if these actually play weeks or just fold.
It's really hard to say now because people are just starting to scream now, I think. Like most teams are starting to scream right now, so you can't really say how they're gonna do yet until you see
They have Shaggy,
scream results and stuff.
so they win.
Yeah, but they're like a solid roster. Lots of good players and played for a long time as well.
So it could mean an interesting season 15, with kind of a vacuum, perhaps, with some teams disappearing and then new teams entering the fray, and there's that kind of struggle to see where that level is going to be again once the teams kind of establish themselves. But that's enough for a rundown of season 14, guys. We know what happened. We know who won, who lost, who struggled, and who prevailed. But it's time to talk about the individuals. We're going to get on to the players. Now, of course, the players were the key thing of Highlander, and we had a look at who did the best, and the admins asked the team leaders to give some nominations for who they felt was the best on each class. And there's also a vote for caster of the season, which was decided by KritzKast on the highest casted people, I think, and the MVP of the season, which is the best player overall, as well as the best debut of the season. That's the person who played in Prem for the first time in season 14, has never played in the top division before. So obviously we have the 9 classes and the 3 extra categories there. And of course, we're going to start off with the scout. And this is where I take a little breather. I take a little rest. I'm going to hand over to the glorious Stinson Out, who's going to tell us who was nominated. And he's going to tell us who won. And there should be some stuff up on the screen for Wiethoofd to show you who was nominated. Actually, we have the nominations there. So I'm not going to give Stinson the floor just yet. We'll take a look at the teams that were nominated. So we can see Chess Club actually had 1 nomination for a player. Lucrosa had 3 nominations. Envision with 2. STCK and Failer both with 7 nominations, while Strong Opinions had a total of 11 nominations. So those are the players that were nominated from the team. So obviously, it pretty much resembles the table there with the amount of nominations. The top teams getting the majority of those nominations. But we'll again now we'll go over to Stinson. Stinson, you do your thing, man. You do your thing.
Good evening.
Hello.
Is my mic working? Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, I'm just trying. So yeah, it's not gonna be too much of a break for you, CeeJaey, because we only had 2 nominees, which were Funds and Crayon. For everyone who was wondering, with the change to 6 teams in Prem, we actually changed our nomination rules a little bit, where before you would have either 3 or 4 nominees, depending if there is a tied 3rd place in the nominations. You would have 4 in the poll instead of 3. But we kind of figured if you put 4 people in the poll, then it's more than half of the people who actually played that class or that role. So we rolled with just nominating 2 in that case, which was the 1st and the 2nd nomination. So that's why there were, in 2 cases, I think, only 2 players nominated. We had Funds and Crayon. Do you want me to read out the results as well?
Absolutely, yes. Give us the
okay.
Just before we do, hashtag Justice for May in Twitch chat. Thank you.
May was one of those guys who was in a tied 3rd place with Eklund. I'll have you know.
Oh shit, dude.
So it was really close. And yeah, the scout of the season, Highlander season 14, was Funds. 73.4% of the votes.
Ooh.
That's quite high. What the fuck?
Quite decisive. Congratulations to Funds.
That's a high. That
might be the highest. What the
yeah, I'm gonna put that down as a Steve percentage. I remember when Steve used to get like 80% of the votes.
Still, there were 3 people nominated, but 80% or not 2.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a kind of any between 2. I mean, Funds. I just from my point of view, I felt Funds carried us in some games this season. I felt against SCCK in the regular season on Galliwash, there was 2 or 3 moments where he literally did like a 1v4 and just saved us from losing around. Yeah, absolutely pounded. And in the final, I think he streamed it as well. So if you ever want to check out the POV of a scout, kind of main calling almost on product, he did so much work for us, and he really just controlled the game. So I mean, that's justified in my book. But I mean, you guys obviously you can debate. Let me know if I'm wrong.
I mean, obviously, Funds won. I voted for him because he's just amazing. He has been since he had his debut season actually in season 11 and actually won, I think, debut of the season as well there. And the thing is, he just walks forward, he just meat shots everything, and he can do that. And the thing is that defines this kind of transition from 6 scout to Highlander is that you actually have scouts that care in Highlander at times, and Funds definitely does. He even runs Milk and stuff like that. Like, he actually cares about Highlander when he plays and just makes his decisions around that instead of just DMing, even though he's just incredible DM.
I think the award is well deserved, but I don't want it to detract for how Crayon played, because he was one of like the more impacting players on Phaler. And I think, I don't know, given, I mean, Fun's was well deserved, as I said, but like, I don't know. I think Crayon had an amazing season as well.
Yeah, Crayon had a great season, especially for the first season in Prem. That was.
Especially middle and Crayon had some like really good synergy on certain maps. Especially on Product, I remember. Both like went behind the house, like you saw, absolutely like wrecked every single time on the first mid fight.
They do the same thing on Coldmount as well.
Yeah, really good synergy between those two.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of scouts. I think scout is one of those classes where you can get a lot of players playing it throughout the season. If you take a look at the spreadsheet, I think there was 9 different players who played scout this season. But I do agree that I think Funds and Crown had the biggest impact. So kind of understand why those guys received the most nominations. I mean, it is the 2 scouts that played in the final, which again kind of plays into the kind of the factor of them getting that attention. But no, I agree. I mean, the stats do stand up for it as well. But we can move on to Soldier now. And Stinson, I think there was more than 2 people up for Soldier, I believe. So
yeah,
can you tell us who those people were?
The people were included middle, Dima and Jackilex. By the way, fun fact, I always put the polls in the order of the most nominations. So included middle received the most nomination, Dima the second most, and Jackilex the third most. You heard it here first, boys.
Ooh,
interesting. On to the placements. Although his peers thought he played a good season, Middle comes in on 3rd place.
Oh boy,
25.2%. Jackilex on 2nd place with 31.5%, and Dima takes the crown with 43.3%. The future Wasp player. Congratulations.
Congrats to Dima.
I think that's his 3rd Soldier of the Season award now. He must have a few in the bank. I mean, that's I obviously I play with Dima. I think he did insanely well in the final for us on Product, especially. He got like 10 med picks or something crazy. But that's quite interesting. I thought the percentages would be higher. I mean, I think this is going to be an interesting one. So I'm just going to leave it to you guys to tell me, because I think a lot of people were disappointed Middle didn't get the award last time around. So I mean, I'm gonna leave you with that.
Like Dima messaged me like a couple hours ago asking if I already know who the winners are, and I said no, and he was like, "When I win, please give me a shout out." So shout out to Dima, I guess.
I wish people see it. I wish people saw it from the perspective of a Phaler player. As a Phaler player, Middle is just one of the most useful people to have on your team. Yeah. Like, he's just so effective. He like cares like so much about like not his own personal performance, but like the way he thinks about things is for the benefit of the team rather than for the benefit of himself, which I think a lot of soldiers in Highlander neglect, as like most of them come from a Sixes background.
You can really see that on the. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's just like sometimes lack of Highlander knowledge can like play into them just padding their stats. I'm not saying the other 2 soldiers were bad; they were really good, and they have been for a long time. But the Middle should have been. The smart Highlander voter would have voted Middle.
Yeah, that's my keyword. I voted for Middle. The thing is, I always feel like, especially when casted, I think like all the games I literally cast were with like Phaler games. And the thing is, when I see Middle, he always does is like what is necessary. I mean, a lot of soldiers just jump in because that's what a soldier does, but Middle is like, do I really need to jump in, or do I just hold the flank because this is really useful? In contrast, though, the thing about Dima in comparison is Dima just jumps in because he can do that. He can get a rocket on every member and then get out somehow. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the difference there.
It's like worth saying, like they're all very, very good soldiers. Like insanely good soldiers. They're very close in skill, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. As for myself, I voted for Jackie, but the thing is, like, I would be happy if either Dima or include middle one as well.
Yeah.
The thing is why I voted for Jackie is because he was probably, like, this season he was probably the most, like, try-harding person on our team. Like, he tried the hardest because he wanted to win another time. So, and even the stats show that he, like, had a really, really great season. So that's why I voted for him. But yeah, then again, both Dima and middle are really good soldiers. So congrats to Dima again.
Yeah, I honestly think when I looked at this award, I know, like, I voted for Dima. I felt like, just from our point of view, what he did for us this season was huge. But I could not have predicted the order at all. I felt any one of those guys could have won it, and any one of them could have finished second and third. I do think it was one of the most open kind of votes among all of the classes. But there we go. Dima is the soldier of the season. We'll move on to Steve of the season. Sorry, Pyro of the season now.
With the best class.
The best class. The most overpowered class. I'm actually looking. I wanted to look at wanted to do some analyzing. I'm not going to do it here, but wanted to see kind of the average DPMs from Pyros over the recent seasons compared to this season and whether there was a difference. I mean, one thing that stood out for me was among all the Pyros that were able to be counted in the stats, 5 out of 6 of them all had over 200 DPM. I don't think that's ever been the case before. I'll have to look over my old spreadsheets, get the stats out. But I do think, Pyro had a little bit more damage this time of season. But Stinson, who were the Pyros that were nominated for Pyro of the season?
I'm sorry, before you start, on the what's his name? On the stream, it's not showing up correctly. It says Garden Fungus says this can Yahoo Lacrosse already. So
boys!
Oh dear.
It's already in.
Correction for those of you looking at the stream. Sinrise is indeed strong opinions, but Garden Fungus actually played for Deaf and Blind in High. He was a Merc for 3 games this season and was nominated as Pyro of the season. Yahoo played for STCK for the most recent season. So Yahoo of STCK, Garden Fungus, essentially teamless in Prem. Wasn't part of a Prem team, he was a Merc. So just clearing that up before things start. But Stinson, now's your time to shine.
Yes, thank you. Steve of the season nominees. We had UGC, Garden, Sinrise, and Yahoo. 3 very talented Pyros, in my opinion. I think one of the best selections we ever had. And since Steve is not playing anymore, it was kind of close too. On to the results. In third place, Garden Fungus, 28.5%. It was really close, so 28.5% on the third place. I think is the highest from anyone who got third place tonight. So you can see here the votes were very close. And Sinrise is Pyro of the season with 38.4%. Yahoo, 33, second place.
Oh, that's really close. That's really
Very close.
What's the difference in the number of votes, actually?
All within 10%.
All right.
I'm going to ask the question that the chat's asking is, where is Strenoate?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Looking for next team next season. Yeah.
Can you let us know how many nominations Strenoate and other people got?
Yes, Strenoate actually was 4th in the nomination, and Ascendery and Hugo actually got a nomination as well. So every single Pyro who played got a nomination, but Sinrise, Garden Fungus, and Hugo were the ones who got the most. Streno was just 1 vote off, though. It was really close.
It was hotly contested, you could say, the nominations for Pyro.
Get it?
They were all really good Pyros.
Not like this. I'm pleased for Sinrise because I feel he was one of the few players on Strong Opinions this season that was actually keen and has tried, and last season as well. I think he's been one of the best Pyros around. Yahoo as well, but I feel Sinrise is kind of... I'm glad he's won the award just because I feel it rewards him for what he's been able to do for us this season. I think he's done really well this season and last season. But again, I think this was a very close vote. I couldn't have called it. I thought, because Yahoo won it last season, and before that, Steve has always won. So it's very hard to kind of get a bit of history and a bit of background. But Garden Fungus, I think was a surprise for some people because he didn't play in a Prem team, but he had some really, really good games when he actually played.
Yeah, like when he worked for us, he was sick, man. Like he was a key factor for winning us the game against Invasion.
Yeah, but to be fair, like I remember Viljack getting nominated for Scout this season, even though he wasn't on any of the rosters, and it was like 2 seasons ago or last season, and he also
that was last season.
Yeah, he also played really well in the games he played in Prem.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't a nomination for Hugo. He was nominated for debut of the season, but he was a Pyro that I think played some of the most games. Taking a look at it, he actually did play. Yeah, he played 6 games over the course of the season, and he had the highest KD and KD and stuff like that. Any comments on him, as he's probably in one of the few players we haven't talked about?
Yeah,
He doesn't talk.
He really doesn't. It's impossible. I tried for weeks now to make.
He's like Divi pretty much, but for Pyro.
I thought
Doesn't
he had a really good season.
Doesn't he like play for stats or something? Like,
Yeah.
Because usually he's baiting his team. Like I'm not sure like if anyone noticed that, but he never like goes first. He always waits.
He
for
won
his team
inside info.
Ooh.
The reason he got kicked from the cross side. You wanna hear? So we were gonna play it on Scream. I think that was the only Scream of the week we can get the whole. So any other day, 3 Mercs, 4 Mercs. Okay. So the one time we get the full roster, randomly goes, "Oh no, I'm gonna play warm up for a mission." Then he goes, "I'm like, okay, that's fine, like that's okay, but you can play the next Scream, right?" Like, no, I'm gonna play official for a mission. And the reason he said he wanted to play the fucking official was because he wanted to farm log to get the best pyro stats. Like, cut man, see you nerd.
I guess it's fair he didn't get nominated for Pyro then.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah,
Wow.
my opinion on him's changed. Not a good guy.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, logs mean a lot, especially on Pyro if you stay alive, but CeeJaey, you see, sometimes it's different.
Yeah,
Logs.
no. You tell me this every time we're in a Mumble together or Discord at Domaytoe. You tell me how wrong I am for liking stats and logs. But yeah, there we go. That was Pyro. So there we go. You got the results, and you got a little bit of cheeky drama as well. We're going to move on to Demo Man, the big damaging class, and I think we had not sure how many nominations we had. Stinson, please let me know.
We had 3 nominations for Best Black Man of the season. First one was Joe N, Adiski, and Xenos.
Nos.
Oof.
The C
Shaolin.
silent on Nos.
I'm a big fan of Xenos, gotta say.
The C silent though.
But the polls weren't a big fan of Xenos. He was third with 13%, the lowest of any player today.
Oh my.
Shout out to Xenos though. And the award goes to Adiski with 62.1%, which is the highest by anyone.
Lord, yeah.
With anyone with 3 players in the category. Joe N second with 25%. So quite a margin here. Congratulations, Adiski.
Yeah.
That's a bigger margin than I imagined.
Yeah.
Between I would have expected Joe to have more than that. Obviously, I think Adiski did insanely well. I mean, the stats, Tomato's going to hate me, but the stats do kind of speak for himself. I mean, he pretty much had the best stat for
everything except damage. But even damage, it was like 0.2. Like I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
So Adiski had 433.3 damage per minute, and Sandburn had 433.5. So other than that, he was pretty much at the top for everything.
I'm really surprised that Sandy didn't get nominated. Like, apart from the fact that he is a shit person, he's a pretty good player. But yeah, he's a pretty good player. I'm surprised he didn't get nominated.
I think people looked at last season when he played heavy and shit, and like it wasn't the same level, as his heavy gameplay. That's what they did.
I would probably put it down to the fact that he didn't play the semi-final and wasn't there in the final, and
yeah, that as well.
You don't get that exposure. But I mean, I suppose that doesn't really affect nominations because that's done by the players and the teams. So
maybe, players anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how do you guys feel about? I mean, Cloudy, Joe.
Disappointment doesn't begin to express.
Do you think he was better than Adiski?
Well,
it's
a different situation entirely, given our combo. Who, I mean, like none of our combo spoke proper English except for Joe, and even his is questionable at times. Whereas Adiski has the American and the Spaniard, the fake Spaniard to and command as he will. Joe says something and the opposite happens. So, in terms of personal performance, I'd rate Joe above Adiski. But if you're talking about team, Adiski's got it.
Yeah.
I felt like Joe had a really good season, but in playoffs he individually he crumbled a little bit, or is it I don't know? I'm just judging it by the way he played and by the logs really.
I mean, if Joe had everything the way he wanted it, he would be way up on top. That's he'd be winning seasons.
How many seasons have Joe played now? Played a long time, dude.
It's all good.
He'll switch. No, it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I'm sorry.
He got to the final with them in season 6, but I think he played some games for them in season 5.
Is it the longest playing Prem player or something? I think it's possible that he's.
Probably.
It's possible.
He's played
Prem
so long.
The first time he
I think Emilio would have been. He was season 5 till 13, but Joe did miss a couple of seasons when he was playing in lower divisions with Failer. So, I mean, he played a long time ago, but he hasn't kind of had consecutive seasons. But yeah, he's one of the longest.
Yeah.
You're a long-term Highlander player. You know Joe and UFC's a scary demo.
Yeah,
it's just a fact of the community. It's a shame that he hasn't actually put out any big performances until now and season 6.
No. They had
the first time that he got in playoffs with.
No. It's not. It's not. They beat Fair Enough to playoffs in season 9 when there were still 4 teams going into playoffs, and he got that was the season they had Remy on Scout.
Cool.
This is his highest performance finish, if you know what I mean. Since
it is.
Well, there we go. Demo of the season goes to Adiski, leaving Noz. Is it Noz or Cnos? Because I get told both ways.
Noz.
If you're in lacrosse, it's Cnos.
Yeah, the thing is, he changed it for British people to pronounce. That way, it's Nos. Otherwise,
it's Cnos and Ules,
aka Volvo Man, aka Moose Rider 5,
aka the Pirate.
Shout out to Volvo.
Oh, the Pirate! Yeah, I remember that nickname. Yeah.
300 horsepower. Shout out to Volvo.
I remember Cnos from Div 5. So
yeah,
I'm very, very proud of him that he got nominated. Shout out to TC Storm.
That was amazing.
Volvo 240, yeah.
I mean, he had some decent stats this season. It's not like he was totally outplayed. I mean, when it comes to kind of kills per minute and stuff like that, the only people who were above him were essentially Adiski and Sandburn. And when it comes to damage, again, it was only Adiski and Sandburn who had higher damage. Noz had higher damage than Joe. His stats look better than Joe's. But I guess it's, stats don't tell the entire picture. It's kind of your performances in the game. Maybe Joe just people see his plays a bit more, but Noz definitely kind of held his own against all of the demos, especially considering it's first season for him.
So. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, I was just about to ask whether it was his first.
Yeah, he's nominated for debut, I think.
Oh yeah,
yes.
We'll find out later. But we're going to move on to a different class now. We're going to move to the Putis Heavy of the season, and we're going to have a new winner because last season was Sandburn, I believe. Question mark? I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
Yes.
So with Sandburn playing demo this season, we're going to have a new Heavy of the season. And Stinson, you are going to tell us who it was.
First of all, I'm going to read out the nominations. We got Poker, we got Justice, and from the US, we got KritzKast. I always like having a Russian in the heavy votes, makes it more authentic, to be honest. And the results are the Euros decided KritzKast was only the 3rd best heavy. He got 24.7%. And the Heavy of the Season award goes to the Russian Poker with 40.7, sorry, 40.7, and Justice on second with 34.6. Congratulations to Russia.
I think that's definitely deserved. I think Poker played absolutely brilliantly this season. I mean, Cloudy, tell us what it's like playing with the big Russian Putis man on your team.
Oh, he's really great. I love Poker. It's the exact same thing I said about Joe, where no one else speaks English, but with Poker, no one else speaks Russian. He makes his own way in life, and he just nails it. It's great. He's always a joy, and he always likes to contribute to chat as well. He's got pretty good calls. He calls when he needs to. Yeah, great player.
He's come a long way. He's come a long way. Like, I remember him playing for Unpoppable back in, season 7 or season 8? And he wasn't, like, really impressive back then. And then he didn't play Prem for a while, and then he came back for Sfila and had a really, really good season. So, like, kudos to him as well. Big improvement.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean, looking at the other players that were nominated, people had a lot to say about KritzKast earlier on in the show. He was nominated as Heavy of the Season, which...
Now he's smiling because he got third place.
Yeah, I mean, KritzKast was the only player from Chess Club to get nominated for any award. So, obviously, people playing with and against him felt that he was up for it, but what do you guys think about KritzKast and Justice as well?
Like, I voted for Justice, but I'm biased. But also, he did have the best stats, and I felt like he was also the second most try-rated player after Jackie this season. Maybe because he really wanted to win. I think Justice never actually got to play like in the final or played in the final or something like that, and he really wanted that. And I think he played there were games where he played completely out of his mind, like top fragging by a mile, even on officials. But overall, yeah, like, poker deserved it just on the basis of like making all that way. And KritzKast, I don't know. I feel like he was the best player on Chess Club, but whether he was one of the best heavies, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think?
I actually voted. I mean, I feel like I'm the only one on like saying who voted for what or something. Right? I voted for poker because what you just said, Clark. I think the main difference now. I also think that he definitely deserved it. It's just he's like a genuine like heavy player or something. You have like Justice, and I still know Justice. Like Justice plays so many classes so incredibly well. He's just such an all-class like talent who just I don't know like played heavy now this season. So I think he's a great heavy, but he's like not a genuine heavy main. So that's
I disagree. I'm gonna have to interrupt you
I disagree.
there.
Yeah.
Justice played heavy for the experiment.
Okay.
Or aka Failer back in season 9, and I feel Justice's best class is heavy.
It is.
He's really good.
The thing is,
but he just doesn't want to play heavy,
okay.
And he's played Scout and Soldier. I do think Poker was the best heavy of this season, but I think Justice is one of those players who has a really good talent at a class, and he just doesn't want to do it. In my opinion, I don't know. I mean, whether he's changed if he wanted to play on a try-hard team like SCK this past season, but whenever I've seen recruitment posts from him, he's never really wanted to play heavy. But yeah, I mean, I think, Cronk, I'm going to bring you on in this because you are, in fact, a heavy main.
I am a heavy main, yeah.
How do you feel about your fellow Putises? Who is your who butt heads with the most?
Like heavy is a pretty shit class overall, but, people play it quite differently. Like, when Sandwich plays, he plays, like, totally different than any other heavy. Like, the team plays around him. It depends a lot how your team plays, what you can do as a heavy. I think Poker was really, really good. And Fela played really well around him as well. I think he got the most heals of all heavies.
Yeah. He's basically like he plays like Catman, almost exactly like him, and it like makes sense.
I don't know.
It makes sense because
Catman
they're
was
really
more
good friends.
flank plays, doesn't he?
Plays on 6
Yeah. I don't think Poker did much. Like, he played most in the combo. Like, he soaked up a lot of heals.
Oh yeah, but Catman soaks up all the heals as well. It's only when his medic is dead, then he goes to this flank place, and Poker is exactly like that. When Lil is dead, he just hides somewhere in the bushes, and it's always so annoying because he can just come out and get like a free K, even if he dies for that. But I guess that's like how all the FIVA players play.
I have to ask Claudia, I had the impression that Poker gets a lot of heals because usually it's just like Joe screaming, go forward, then he gets headshot, and then like Fela has like Poker to heal and gets protected.
It's kind of the story.
Yeah.
Like Joe gets Joe gets all the useful heals, and then Poker gets the rest. Like Joe takes the heals, goes forward, dies, and Poker's just sort of protected.
But also like KritzKast isn't a bad heavy at all. I think he's a really, really good heavy. It's the fact that he was on a pretty bad team. If you watch him play, he plays heavy really, really well.
Who did you say it was? Poker?
KritzKast.
Oh, KritzKast, yeah.
Yeah, I think Justice doesn't get enough credit for his heavy play.
Yeah, he doesn't. Like, what? He came second, right?
Yes. I think he's the outstanding combo player on SDCK. Well, he was last season, in my opinion. He was always like a big target for me, at least.
Yeah, like, as I said, like he had a couple of games where he completely smashed. Like he was not only the best player on SCK, he was the best player on our on the server, even if our team lost. Like he was like he's one of the few heavies, maybe Sandwich is the other one, who can consistently, well, not as consistent this season, but before he was consistently top fragging. Like top fragging on his heavy is harder than one might imagine.
Yeah, usually it's a class that's just there to tank up and not really distribute much kind of damage and kills. So you kind of just protect your medic and soak up some stuff. I mean, I want to give a shout out to Spamfest, who is an NG main who played heavy for us.
He did really well, actually.
Yeah, I mean, our heavy situation this season was a bit dire, but Spamfest just jumped in. We asked him to play heavy. He was like, yeah, sure. And against Failer in probably one of the most difficult games of our season in the regular season.
While we're still here, also on the topic, can you explain the Amelia situation? Because nobody can really explain what happened. Did he just not want to play anymore?
Yeah, he didn't really want to play this season, and he played a couple of scrims, and he said, I'm really not enjoying it at the moment. Like I'd rather not play. So you're like, oh, okay, fair enough. We don't want to force someone to play against their will. So Carl was on our roster as a backup from last season, and Boar and I spoke to him and said, look, would you be up for just kind of playing this season? He only played like 2 or 3 games because he was away for part of the season, away in like Asia somewhere, and he couldn't play on 400 ping.
Cheating with his girlfriend.
Yeah. So we had Spamfest on heavy, and we had Menti Merc for a game as well. We should have just put Sinrise, the Nations Cup proven Belgian international heavy.
Sinrise is a sick heavy.
Looking for team heavy.
Sinrise is so talented. He's also very handsome.
Yeah, the very handsome and talented heavy main, looking for team heavy. Sinrise. So pick him up.
I'm actually gonna cut myself and go manager and get Sinrise on heavy.
You're gonna cut yourself, Jesus. Okay.
I am going to move on from talking about Russian heavies now. Let's talk about a different class. Let's go to the Texan man, which is, of course, Engineer.
Oh, boy.
Stinson, get back in the room. Tell us who was nominated.
With pleasure. Engineer of the season, we had Sek, Clark, and Zamparoni.
Sam.
The chat to explode.
Yeah, the chat. I think the chat is already exploding. I'm gonna.
One too many
Where is
Germans in
it?
there.
There you go. It's actually a vote that was extremely close.
Oh.
I'm just gonna say that. So, in third place, very surprising, with 31%, Sek.
What?
Wow,
No.
Ouch.
that's
Bad, man.
I can feel the tension
I
rising.
told you,
here.
Germans
Yeah.
are ruling over
No.
Wiethoofd. They're ruling over Wiethoofd.
Clark, what
No,
will be
no,
worse?
no.
I remember
again, or
CeeJaey is out of here.
Ooh.
I remember to this day how
I hope you rigged these logs correctly. We will see. Oh god.
No Germans, please.
I think I'm gonna just go ahead and do the CeeJaey now. Okay, moving on though. One vote more, one public vote more on second place, and the vote for Clark of the season was Zamparoni, and Clark is Clark of the season once more.
Ooh, God bless you.
37.7%.
Ooh.
Congratulations, Clark.
God bless.
Thank you, Turant voted, but second,
Congrats,
third over. Oh god. I told you, I was talking about it before, like 2 days ago, about how Germans are ruling over ETF2L. Like, I still remember how Sonny Black, like, refused to pay, I was talking to Dima about it. We won high in season 10, and we were supposed to get some money, and I messaged Sonny Black, and I was like, where's our money? And he answered with a smiley face. I was like, okay, Germans are ruling ETF2L. Just another example. But yeah, thank you for involved.
I think this one is kind of the biggest meme vote, maybe, the engineer.
Sek has been the best NG for the past 3 seasons. This season, he still had better stats than pretty much every engineer, and for half the season, he had to play on a screen. Like, his computer would crash if he alt-tabbed, so he could never leave the game, and his screen was tinted purple during 3 officials, so he couldn't see half the things that was going on. And he still got better stats than most of the engineers in Prem. Like, what does this guy need to do to win an award? It's a travesty that he hasn't won over the past 2 seasons. Sek is probably one of the best engineers I've ever played with. I am disappointed in the TF2 community for this vote.
Zamperoni dies like every single okay, look,
kills, though.
like
That's the pick.
Here we go.
that's the thing. Like for
Zamperoni
the
gets big picks and he gets med picks and he goes for like big plays. So.
oh yeah, look for
Taylor
the
needs
team that for the style that Joe likes to play, like go aggressive, like full in W, like that's a really good like engineer to have. Then again, like anyone with a decent aim can do that. So, like,
but the
thing is, he gets second over.
Even though he dies and goes in a lot, he doesn't even have the most kills per minute.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Sek does, right?
I think you do, Cronk.
Oh no.
I don't know. Like I had a good season this season, I felt, but Sek.
Yeah, you had a 6 season instead.
Sek, I don't know. He played for how many seasons in Prem? For as many as I do, I think. Maybe one less, but he's been consistently very good. And I think the thing about stats for engineer is that they're important only if they're really bad, like Zamperoni's, or if they're really good, like Sek last season. So, like, Sek deserved last season, and I think, like, if we go by stats, I think the fact that I won last time should have, like, kept him as, or, like should have made him win this time, but I'm sad he only got hurt.
I just want to confirm what Clark said. Clark actually came to me after the show last and asked if he can give his award back. So,
I mean, look, the thing is...
It has been a nice meme with Clark, but can you please stop voting this dude? I mean, look at him.
The thing is,
he doesn't
like,
even have lights anymore. He's ashamed.
just don't have any money and bored.
These this season awards aren't paying enough, man.
I just so far, kind of my record was a bit ruined, but again, I watched for Sek 1. CeeJaey, I kind of have the impression always, like I love watching Sek. I have the impression that he kind of plays like Seal a lot. He's just, I feel like he has like the passiveness and getting out of Seal, but like has DM like Doom.
He actually get frags though. That was
yeah. The thing with Seal was he always was behind. Like he played really passive, like super passive behind our flank. So if our flank ever anything ever went wrong with Thalash and Raptor, which was our flank back then, Seal would be behind there and would just stay alive and would just kind of do things like protect Cloudy and just kind of make sure nothing got behind. Whereas Sek just plays, he doesn't play that passive. He just somehow stays alive all the time. Okay. Yeah, it's like, I don't understand how he can go in and just be like we play like a King of the Hill map and he'll get 30 odd frags, but only die 5 times. And he just does so much work that it's really hard to see an engineer, I guess, like do well. I suppose you kind of have to just see them. If they make a mistake, then you notice when it goes wrong, but you don't really notice them when they do well. But Sek just somehow manages to kind of do his job all the time, and he's just been, again, like, as well as Sinrise, one of the people I really wanted to win Prem this season because I wanted those guys to win because I felt that they deserved it because they've tried really hard, and like it's been really, really fun to play with Sek. So it's a disappointment, but at least he gets his winner's medal, I guess. That's
yeah. I'm looking at the stats right now. His stats were like much better than Zamperoni's, to be fair. Like, but Zamperoni again.
Zamperoni plays like a shit player, though. Like,
yeah. How can you die? Hold on. I'm sorry. How can you die 0.79 times? Like how as an engineer you're not supposed to die at all? Like how is it even happening? Explain it to me.
It's part of the failure flank.
Oh god.
We're just a bunch of aggressive guys.
Would you guys have preferred Ramazor in the what's that?
Easy, dude. Rambo is the man.
Let's move on from engineer. Engineer is the drama is over. It's settled down now. Let's move on to the next class. Let's go on to the support classes. We've got 3 more awards to go for the players. We're going to speed things up a little bit. There are only 2 people nominated for Medic of the Season. Stinson, do you want to let us know who won?
Yes, nominated were Spare and, of course, my favorite Twitch streamer is CeeJaey. And CeeJaey took away the award from Spare's hands with exactly 60% of the votes. A little bit closer.
Congrats.
But, congrats, CeeJaey. I'm sure you deserve it.
I don't know.
Okay, so
Sprayer did a sprayer thing where he just
Staying
goes
behind
as sprayer and this thing where he doesn't die a lot. But like,
his team
as a man who
dies.
played on Joe's team, it's not an aggressive thing to do. I don't like it.
Can I just say something? Thanks.
Yeah.
I think Sprayer is the best Highlander medic in Europe of all time, honestly. And I'm not saying it as a meme or anything. He's literally the best medic that has ever played Highlander in Europe. Like, there's no one better. Like, CeeJaey
Ooh.
CeeJaey
You're
is
saying
not-
he's better than Bulo?
Or like Ski. Oh, Bühler. Yeah, I don't
You have
think
to
anyone
define
can top
better
that,
in
honestly.
like
Like,
people.
CeeJay's a team player.
But yeah, no. CeeJaey is a great medic. I'm talking about like who is the best like overall and who was the best this season in particular, which was Sprayer in my opinion. And like people always like say funny things about him, like Sprayer is hiding from like an arrow when.
To like -80 across.
Yeah. But the thing is, by doing that, he saves an Uber for the next push, and that's exactly what you need in Highlander. You need your medic to stay alive so that he can just keep pushing in waves, you know? Like, one push doesn't work, you go back, you already have 50 Uber, you can push again. Then you don't die, you come back, you do it again, and again, and again, and again. And he manages to survive every single time. Like, his arrows, I think, have also improved. Like, he wasn't as good, like, as like some Sixes medics, for example, but he's improved his arrows, he's improved his movement and dodging. And he's honestly, I can't, like, from the top of my head, I can't think of anyone who is better than Sprayer, like, who played Highlander. So consistently well as well.
The thing is, when I actually casted your game against, don't let me lie, on Core Plant against Fela, I think, semi-final? Yeah, that was when I actually pointed out that I would give the personal MVP of the game to Sprayer, because the thing is, there were like literally 6 people on Sprayer the entire time, and he did not die. I mean, I definitely agree with you there. Kind of would maybe not say maybe best medic to have ever played. I mean, I really enjoy watching him, though. I mean, I think he actually like has fun baiting his team a bit, like at some points, but kind of like what you said, he just stays alive. Really good stuff.
I agree with Clark that I think mechanically Sprayer is one of the best Highlander medics kind of around. If I was going to get kind of intense, I'd say that 3 teams in Prem removed him from there. Like, you know, he played for Chess.
Please.
Played for Highlander and they kicked him, and then he played for Premtech and they kicked him, and every one of their team leaders has always said to me that they don't like the passiveness, that a lot of the times when there's a fight going on, he's not there to provide support. But then again, as a medic, I don't see other medics. Like, I see stats and that's it. So I think I played. Did I play against Sprayer this season? I can't remember if he was in our official.
Yeah.
Okay,
no.
he was.
He was? No? He was, I think he was, yeah.
I can't remember if it was him or someone. But yeah, basically, like, it's really hard for me to judge other than when I'm watching. But so I can only go on what other people tell me. But I'd say he's one of the best. I mean,
like, he wasn't cut from SDCK and we won Prem with him 2 times. So I guess the record was broken, you know. But he did.
Okay.
I can tell from like first hand, like when I was talking to Sprayer, people just didn't like him. Like going back when teams like were already losing the fight. Teams wanted him to stay in and help, even if the fight was already like getting lost. Like he was already losing the fight, and he has a really good sense for when the fight is lost, and that's when he comes back. So yeah, I don't think he baits his team at all. I think he's a fantastic medic, and I think he deserved this award. But congratulations to CeeJaey anyway.
Claudio, as there were only 2 medics nominated, I wanna bring Layla into this as a medic that played in the final. How do you think she is as a medic? Do you think she's like up there? I mean, it's getting to the final must at least count for something. Do you think she was up for a nomination at least? I mean, I don't know if since then she got any nominations.
I wanted to mention.
I want to hear this.
I wanted to mention that whoever played, I guess, Medic for Chess Club didn't get nominated because we only had 5. And we had Tercio and Graba in 3rd place tied. That's why there were only 2.
Graba boys.
And Layla only got 1 nomination.
Oh.
So I'm not sure. You know, last time she was nominated, I think she did pretty well in the polls as well. So.
I think you have to give a lot of credit for a medic who still plays with Joe.
Yeah.
God.
Layla quoted this herself. Joe says you don't need a medic to play Highlander. And that's how Joe plays. He plays like he doesn't need one. So Layla doesn't have the best start in life as a medic.
Didn't you say that in the final she had like the worst game of her life or something? I think that's
the worst I've seen her play for a very long time.
Right.
In the semi-final, that is easily the best I've seen her play in her entire life. And like the contrast between the semi-final performance and the final performance, it was sad. Like, I've been speaking to Layla for like a long time. The pressure still gets to her. Like, she's got a few hurdles to overcome before she's going to be up there with Sprayer and CeeJaey and the. She needs a lot of direction, but like she does have good games. But yeah, she's easily overwhelmed. I'll say that's the way I'm gonna put it.
That's the thing with female gamers, you know.
Can't be show like real life.
Wow.
I think she gets more vocal lately, though. She also starts kind of directing sometimes. People, is that correct, Claudia? Or
Spy.
It's different enough. She's a
Do it again.
It's louder and angrier.
Sure, go forward.
Let's move on from the Healy people. Let's talk about more fragging people. As we're going on to the people that shoot people in the head. It's only one of those classes anymore.
Oh.
No, not Spy anymore, Domaytoe. You are incorrect. Ambi is gone. But Stinson, who was nominated for Sniper of the Season?
Sniper of the Season nominees. All the way from the US Boar, we had our very own Cloudy, and we had Burn. 3 very capable snipers. I think all of 3 won previously, if I'm not mistaken. But Burn this time was not so popular. He is on 3rd place with 13%. And Cloudy, I'm afraid you are 2nd place, 32%. No. And Boar with 54% of the votes. So
Jesus.
Yeah, he was quite dominant in the polls, and the award goes to the Trump states.
I don't think that's particularly deserved.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
American snipers are operators.
Please do tell us.
Enlighten us.
Boar didn't try this season because he had all the space in the world to play with. If Boar was tested in the season, then yeah, I might say he deserves it. Like, I think he could, he's obviously proved he can, but this season, Boar, I don't even think he had a good season. He was just farming. He had DSQ was just clearing the way. Funds and Dima were just clearing the way, and he just gets all the space and does. I don't think it's a particularly impressive show of skill. I don't think it's particularly impressive in any way. He didn't get the best sniper v sniper stats.
But isn't it impressive that he does that with 100?
I still think snipers are so overrated.
It's not.
Yeah, I mean, Cloudy had the best sniper v sniper stats. Just to take a look here, out of the 4 games that he played in, this is just looking at the regular season, he didn't lose any of his sniper battles. He won 3 of them and tied with Boar in the official that they had. The only other person to win as many was Kunu, who won 3 out of 5, but he did lose 2 of them. So yeah, Cloudy had the best sniper v sniper. He also had the best KD and KD, which is reminiscent of when we played together. He never used to die very much. He's always in a really good position to stay alive. I always remember that was the best thing about Cloudy, is that we always had that sniper presence. And I remember going into the final this season, we did say, just remember season 9 when Cloudy tore Chess Club an absolute new one, because he has the potential to just turn up and do that. So going into the game, we were extremely wary of Cloudy, especially me and Toast, having played with him so long. We know what he's capable of. So yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with what Cloudy said there. Boar I think did well this season, but
yeah, he's an incredibly good player. He wasn't tested this season. He didn't have anything that would contest him, so he did what he wanted. I don't think he played particularly well in the season. He just sort of flexed his muscles and did what he wanted.
Sid Maritol, in the final, he did top 5 by quite a margin.
Yeah, that was on Viaduct. I'll admit that is the best I've ever seen Ball play. He annihilated us on that last map, that last round specifically. He's the reason we. But for the rest of the season, I wouldn't say he's particularly impressive.
Yeah, I also agree that Cloudy deserved to win. I personally voted for Burn because he's my teammate.
How could you vote for
Look,
only because he's your teammate? Did you say you think he had a good season this season?
Don't interrupt me, please. So what I was about to say is that Burn has been one of the most important players on SDCK for its entirety. I think what speaks for it is that three finals we played against Strong Opinions. So UDC season 21, I think. Wiethoofd season 12, season 13. He top fragged in all three of them. Even though he doesn't always have good performances, he is the person that can just turn up and play out of his mind if his team requires him to. This season, I agree, Cloudy deserved it. Personally, I didn't think Bor played just as well as Cloudy, but I voted for Burn just because I know that he won't return to TIF2, not for a long time, because he's getting married, so he's got a lot on his plate. That's why I voted for him, because I know he won't return for a long time, and I just wanted to honor him for all the work that he's done for our team over 2 years. So
with Burn, I agree with you. I don't think he had a particularly impressive season. I've seen him play 10 times better across all my time against him. But I think as you say, he's got a lot going on, and I just think he didn't have his heart in it this season. It didn't feel like he was trying. He felt like he was he just felt like he was out of practice, if you know what I mean. I think if he put as much effort as he has done in the past, he could easily be right at the top, way above me.
I think Burn is the most disappointing sniper this season of all the snipers. You would expect him to do really well as he used to. He was just bad, really bad, in my opinion.
Okay, well, we're going to go on to the final class.
Best class.
Which is Domaytoe's favorite class. The Spy, which again, after the Jungle Inferno update, had some big changes. Dead Ringer was nerfed, Ambassador was nerfed. So
look at all these KDs. Fucking terrible as well.
The KDs in the stats kind of show it. I mean, kills per minute, highest was 0.77, which was toast. Considering in the past we've had people with near enough killer per minute and stuff like that. So interesting kind of change of styles, but Stinson, take us away with who was nominated.
Yeah, new Spy, old nominees. We had Toast nominated, Granger, a very well-known Spy, and Mezzo Mix, I think. Mezzo Mix.
Another German.
Okay, and in third place, we had Granger Bob with 18% of the votes. Fun fact, he got 69 votes.
Hey!
And in second place, drum roll, we had Mezzo, 34%, and Toast takes the crown, 47%. Congratulations to Denmark.
What was the percentages again, sorry?
34 for Mezzo, and 47 for Toast.
Wow, I was expecting Mezzo to have to be much closer than that.
Yeah.
In before Toast, everybody calls everybody a
I think Mezzo had a really good sort of final. He was in the final. I think the two players that caused us problems were Cloudy and Mezzo. They just kind of not so much on the med picks coming from my point of view. He did get kills on me, but in general, he was just picking off people at really inopportune times for us. It was really, really difficult for us to kind of get some stability. But I feel Toast, a lot of people have been shitting on him for the kind of the Ambi nerf and stuff like that. But if I'm going to just pull up the stats, Domaytoe, you ready for this? You ready for this? He still had pretty decent stats. he had pretty much the best stats across the board for everything. So,
but these stats are terrible for everyone.
I mean, it's true. There is again, that's something else I want to look at, spies of the past season. But I want to go to Cloudy first and talk about your boy Mezzo.
Mezzo had a really good season. I think he's one of the most useful spies to have on your team. With Toast, you can sort of rely on him to do well because he does his thing and he commits to it. Whereas Mezzo can sort of shape himself around the game and he sort of identifies weaknesses in the team and tries to exploit them. And that was pretty evident in the final. He played really well. He top fragged for our team. So I'm glad he got second place at least. But Toast is now a big enough name in Highland. It's always Toast had a good season, but I don't know, it's just another day in the office for Toast. Whereas Mezzo sort of went above and beyond and really standed out, at least in my point of view.
Yeah, Mezzo's really impressed me as well. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like ever since the Pyro nerf, like every spy kind of had to step up their game a little bit, because like if they didn't, they would suck. And
because like good spies played like that before as well.
come again?
Yeah.
Your microphone is low.
Oh yeah, I said the Emmy spies had to. The other ones like only played like this always. I think Mezzo played as well as like that before.
Yeah, but I think he's also improved. Like I think every spy just improved just a little bit after Pyro nerf. Like what I noticed as well is that Pyros usually like spies tend to go for engines more than they do for combo players, because they know like that a lot of the times they just can't get the combo pick, like either medic or them or heavy. So they tend to go for ranges, which is a not good thing for me. But yes, I think all the spies stepped up this season. I think Mezzo was the guy who stepped up the most, and I feel like both him and Toast deserved it just as much, to be fair. But congrats to Toast running again.
Yeah, you can definitely say like Toast and Mezzo are like in a league of their own a little bit right now in the top spies, I would say.
Chupa's tryharding lately like so hard. I think he will definitely.
Yeah, it's to see next season. But right now, like the last season, I would say Mezzo and Toast like 22 best spies.
Yeah, I don't think Chupa he only played 3 games, so I think maybe not enough teams played against him to really kind of get a feel. But I know for the past few years now, he's always been one of the most annoying spies as a combo player. He does get those right picks at the right time, and kind
definitely.
of similar to kind of the way Mezzo played this season and how Granger has played in the past. Yeah, interesting to see the change in the stats between spies of previous seasons. I mean, Toast did use the Ambi in the final, but he got like 49 headshots in 83 minutes. But normally,
you can headshot a heavy more if it do like 10 damage and stuff.
I guess, yeah, but I mean, you're not going to survive as well without the Dead Ringer. I think when we've seen spies like, Zaman, Toast, Nightmare, and stuff like that get headshot a minute, it's a bit different. But we'll move on. Those are the classes, guys. So, players of the season for the different classes. On Scout, we had Funds. Soldier, we had Dima. Pyro, it was Sinrise. Demo was Adiski. Heavy, Poker. On Engineer, it was Clark. Medic was CeeJaey. Sniper was Boar. And Spy was Toast. And now we're going on to debut of the season. Now, this is the player that has not played in Prem before, but performed the best in their debut season of ETF2L Highlander in the top division. So Stinson, let us know which one of the newbies got voted.
Gladly. The nominees were Hugo, Tuya, and the formerly mentioned Xenos.
Charlie.
I also want to point out that Tomi, Crayon, Kazuki, and Tercio each got nominations as well, but didn't quite make it into the polls.
It's quite a rob that Crayon didn't get nominated for debut of the season. It's insane.
Please. 2 Irish people were left out. I think it's a conspiracy.
Yes, definitely.
I just think
He didn't win and he's Irish, Clark. What have you got to say about that?
Well, I already said what I had to say about that. I think he deserved to win this season because he didn't win last season. But thank God it's not a Peroni. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's move on.
Yes, let's do that. In third place, we have Hugo with 17.4%. And the first and second place were very close. I think that's the closest margin of the first and second place we've had this season.
Charlie.
Separating each other only by 8 votes. Debutant of the season is Tuya.
No!
42.5% and plus 40%. I'm sorry, my boy.
Rape.
It hurts.
It's, by the way, it's not Tuya, it's Tuja.
I thought it's Tuja.
It's Tuja.
Tuja?
It's like Mexican. It's like J is a H. You don't learn Spanish in school? Jesus Christ.
No, we only...
Wait, was Knaz second?
Yeah,
Wait,
not
Yes.
Yes, Xenos second.
Kronk. I'm not sure if he's frozen or he's just stunned. Okay, there we are. You are how do you feel about that? Your boy Noz in second.
I don't know. Like they're both really good players, so like from a objective perspective, like anyone could have won that of those two. Tuya is a really good heavy. But yeah, Nos is a big factor for us doing well. Like the combo does a lot of calling with me, and without his calling, we would be far worse than we are with him. So yeah, Nos is a great player, but Tuya is also really good.
Yeah, I mean,
Tuya is like come on.
Yeah, I was going to say, having experienced the players, I've casted with them, but Tuya, like he merked for us in a scrim just before, sort of when we were preparing for the playoffs. We had one scrim against Failer, and we also had a merc demo. I think we had Murphy on demo, so we had this brand new combo, and he played really well in this scrim, and I was really impressed because he'd never played with us before, and he just seemed he just knew when to get aggressive, he knew when to play, and yeah, I was really impressed, and I think. The only other experience playing against him I had was playing in the Nations Cup against him, and again, then he was quite impressive. So, I mean, there was a lot of players. I mean, the other players Stinson mentioned there, like Kazuki and stuff like that. I think there was a lot of players who could kind of been up for this vote. There was a lot of choice. The other two players, obviously nominated here, were very good choices as well. So it doesn't surprise me that it was such a close vote.
Kazuki had the most map picks per minute out of any soldier, by the way, this season.
About that, actually, I actually looked that up. He has the most med picks per minute of any season any soldier did.
Yeah, any season, any soldier.
Whoa! What about Hearts?
No,
Hearts, not even close, man. Kazuki got
I
the
didn't feed
best.
enough, CeeJaey. Back in the
He
day.
got the best.
Really?
Yeah.
There was one season where Hearts got like 1 billion.
Yeah, he was like second best to Kazuki anyway.
Kazuki got the best med picks.
Oh wow!
Of anyone ever on soldier.
That's impressive then.
Shout out to Kazuki. Irish superstar Kazuki.
All right, well, there we go. That's debut of the season goes to Tuya. And we're on to a non-playing award now. And this is going to be caster of the season. Stinson, let us know who was nominated.
Caster of the season. Nominees were Chando, Domaytoe, and CeeJaey. So we have a 2 out of 3 chance that one of our guests or hosts here actually wins the award. Let's see how the results fared. Third place, Chando, 25.5%.
That's pretty good percentage here.
Yeah, that's actually quite high.
That's quite high, but it's worth pointing out he casted the most of the 3. So I always like, see casters rewarded for their efforts.
Yeah,
but
I thought Chando
also big shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Chando.
Yeah, Chando.
Also, big shout out for like teaching English transitions. Like I always have these essays that I write for the write-ups, and I just like give them Chando, and then he actually does something proper out of that. Like he really did a lot of effort this entire season, like coverage-wise, which is never really like seen on the outside like as much, but he really did a lot.
Yeah, good having people that genuinely care about the community and like does the work.
I may continue. In the absence of Sigafu in these votes, you have Domaytoe in second place, 30%, and CeeJaey wins with 44%.
That's decisive.
It's quality over quantity.
Yep.
I voted Domaytoe because of the banter. I loved it, especially in those news posts.
I really like casting with Domaytoe and Chando. Like Domaytoe has his like own style when we cast together. We did UGC the other day.
Yeah,
it's really fun. And then Chando has like a different way. He's quite similar in the Sigafu style when we cast together. I really like casting with Chando as well. So it's quite nice to have people to cast with, like different things and different styles. So I hope people kind of enjoyed it. I'm glad like those guys got like high percentage of the votes as well, because I'm hoping.
Do you like casting with me too, CeeJaey?
Of course I do, Stinson. You need to cast more though. You need to.
Thank you.
You need to get onto Steam and get into these casts. I mean, UGC next Monday. I'm hearing you signing yourself up for that. Nice. I'll see you on Monday.
I might have.
Chando deserved. Well, I don't know about deserved, but I don't know. This is probably like one of the closest votes for me. It's always a unique vote, and like the casters this season and the production in general was like probably the highest standard it's ever been. Yeah. So
shout out to KritzKast and
Wiethoofd. Shout out to Wiethoofd, like a lot.
But like the casters were a pivotal part, put in a lot of effort. Like there was no lazy production, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, shout out to KritzKast, who've like really tried to cover all of the games this season as best they can. The production from Wiethoofd and co has been absolutely brilliant, and the casters are part of that. I'm getting told that the likes of Chando, Domaytoe, and Jacobwati may be casting at the upcoming Copenhagen Games. So that's going to be
winning that.
Looking forward to some quality Highlander at that LAN and have some quality casting going on as well. So you guys have got that to look forward to as well. But we've got one more award, guys. One more award. So we'll go over the awards just to build up the hype a little bit. Scout of the season was Funds. Soldier was Dima. Pyro was Sinrise. Demo was a Disky. Heavy was a Poker. Engineer was Clark. Medic was CeeJaey. Sniper Boar. Spy was Toast. Debut of the season was Tucha. Caster of the season was CeeJaey. And finally, we're on to MVP, most valuable player, best player of the season. Stinson, who was the best player of ETF2L Premiership Highlander Season 14?
Then nominees were Boar, Funds, and Ediski. And I just wanted to shout out the Prem teams for nominating what I think is excellent choices, because all these three players won their respective categories tonight. So you can see they're excellent gamers in the field of Highlander. And on to the results. We have Ediski in third place, 27.8% of the votes.
Okay.
And the best player in ETF2L Season 14 in the 9v9 format in the European Team Fortress 2 League was an American player.
Burgers.
Wow.
Burgers win with 37% and Funds with 35%, so quite close, but not quite enough.
Not deserve. It was supposed to be Funds. Come on.
It was supposed to be Funds.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Funds.
Like, Funds fucking plowed the way for Strong Opinions. And he basically glorified everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I said it when it came to the scout vote. Like, I mean, Boar's done well. We talked about Boar. He's obviously a very good player. Gets a lot of kills. I just felt Funds kind of had like the decisive impact at the right times. And when it came to the crunch, he just bam, just excuse me, just killed everything. Like he just the kid's insane. So yeah, I vote for Funds. I felt he was our best player, and I felt he was just the best player this season.
He's also very nice, like as a person.
Yes. An absolutely lovely person. He's really
I'm serious. Like he's genuinely like to hang out with.
I voted for Funds.
Can you tell me what the nominations were in general? Like who were nominated? Apart from those three.
Yeah, sure. Other nominees, people who got a nomination, were Jackie, Cloudy, Mezzo, Tuha, Burn, and Hugo.
Hugo. Don't know how I feel about the Hugo nomination.
Actually, I had to Google. That's like 1 HP, and he renamed himself.
I mean, Mezzo and Cloudy are like fair, I guess. The other one maybe inspired by teammate patriotism or something. I don't know.
I honestly thought that was going to be a landslide victory for Funds. Like that's baffled me, that one.
I'm surprised the Sixes. Like we always talk about the Sixes effect, where the Sixes players, well known, kind of get the attention. So I was expecting more votes for Ediski and Funds to win it. So that does surprise me. Just to let you know that the winner of the MVP award does actually win a vintage lo-fi longwave from KritzKast. So Boar will be getting one of those in his backpack very soon.
We learned that also a lot of NA players have an ETF2L account.
I didn't think it was that many. I didn't expect that to be like a thing, but apparently it is. But there we go, guys. I'm guessing that's discussion ended. People are heartbroken at the lack of a Funds. But there we go. I think Wiethoofd can pop up on the stream the award winners and the kind of the ranking and stuff like that. So just a quick overview, guys. Scout of the season was Funds of Strong Opinions. Dima of Strong Opinions winning Best Soldier. Sinrise on Pyro of the same team. Adiski also of ESO won Demo Man. Poker of Failer Esports won Heavy. Clark from SCCK won Engineer. CeeJaey from Strong Opinions won Medic. Boar from ESO also Sniper. And Toast from ESO winning Spy. Best debut was an Envision player, Tuka. Best player overall was Strong Opinions Boar with CeeJaey on Caster. So there we go. We can see the total award winners there on your screen to see which players. Sorry, will you someone say something?
I was gonna bring out something like about the LAN. Should we discuss that or something? A little bit maybe.
Yeah, we can talk about that. The upcoming Copenhagen Games, which is going to have not just a 6v6 tournament with a prize pool of 3,000, but also a Highlander tournament with a prize pool of 3,000 euros. That's happening at the end of March, so Easter weekend.
Yeah. Do you guys know any confirmed teams or anything? Because I only know 2 teams so far.
What are the 2 teams that you know?
I think Strong Opinions, right? Maybe?
Yes. But you said you knew. You thought you said you knew confirmed.
I don't know. You know?
Yes, this is guesswork. Yes, there may or may not be a Strong Opinions lineup going to LAN.
Okay. Yeah. Second one I know is Lucrosa. Me and Domaytoe gonna play. Gonna be sick, man.
Is this going to be like a full Lucrosa lineup? How many people are you going to get from your main lineup?
CeeJaey, tell us your roster, my friend.
It's Cloudy. Shall I tell the roster? Is it time?
It's
time, dude.
The leader, man.
It's time.
It's time. Okay, so Strong Opinion. So we've got confirmation. So we're gonna have the vintage Strong Opinions going. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna have a vintage Strong Opinions lineup. So we're not gonna have Boar. We're not gonna have have Carl and the like.
Alice, Raptor, and Ale, I guess. Yeah.
That's as much as I'm saying. It's just going to be vintage. But yeah, I mean, do we know any other confirmed teams? Cronk, you say about Lucrosa. I did hear there was another team, but I can't remember who
was it. DVS? Wasn't DVS making one?
DVS isn't going.
He couldn't go, right?
And I heard that Team 9 was planning to go, but it's not happening.
Is it not? Okay.
Can go around through our roster if anyone is interested.
No.
We
want to hear more about.
I see you want to talk about Strong. That's fine. I'm going, man. I'm going. So we pretty much have more or less our full roster, like some minor changes. Scout, we have Ekelund, Soldier, Kusuk, Pyro, Viklox, Demonos, me having Rumblestorm, NG, Domaytoe Medic, Casserrock Sniper, and Super Spy.
Who was the medic?
Domaytoe.
Domaytoe?
Hell yeah.
Debut.
Wait, why would you do that? I thought you want to win that.
Wow. I have the best laptop performance.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, KritzKast is going to be casting that, so keep your eyes peeled for that. It is huge. I mean, this is the first dedicated Highlander LAN we've had since 2016 Deutschland. So it's going to be nearly 2 years since the last time. So there's a lot of people probably not seen each other for a while, other than at Sixes LANs if they've gone. So it's really nice to see, and it's going to be a huge prize pool. This is bigger. This dwarfs the prize pool from 2015 Deutschland, I think, or it's going to be about the same. So it's really nice to see the support from the community. That'll be happening, like I said, Easter weekend. Keep your eyes peeled for the cast on KritzKast. It'll be going on, and you'll get to see some Highlander teams playing at the Copenhagen Games. But I'm going to call it there, guys. The awards are done. Apparently, Wiethoofd has the award overviews to show us. So the new ranking of highest awards, I guess, on ETF2L for Highlander. So we can take a quick peek at that and see how people have picked up some awards and how that's changed. And oh wow, there's like pluses and stuff like that. So we can see some old school players there. Blub and Ast, 2 of the players who won triple awards in their one season. Down in 5th there was Sigafu and Adiski appearing on the scoreboard there with his 3rd award. In joint 4th we have Shadowburn, Boar +2, obviously picking up 2 here today. Clark adding an extra one, and Dima adding an extra one as well. So those guys are all on 4 awards now as well. Lazy Bear with the 5, still a player who hasn't played for a long time. So the fact that he's still up there has to be a testament to how good he was at this time. Toast there, adding another award to himself. So he's up to 6 now. And I feel kind of dirty the fact that I'm joint with Steve, but with 8. So we're going to I'm glad Steve's on the top there, because Steve deserves to be at the top for winning Pyro every season. But there we go. Those are the total awards for the Highlander Awards, guys. Adding on the ones that have been won here today. Thank you very much for watching. And I'm just going to go around and give some shout outs. We'll start with Cronk, as you're kind of next to me. I think you're across from me. Cronk, any shout outs?
Shout outs, yeah. Shout out to my team. Shout out to Middle Porky. Moist. Shout out to HLPugs.tf. Go there after this.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Get some pugs going. If you want to play some Highlander. We'll go to 3rd place next, which was Clark. Any shout outs?
Shout out to SDCK. It's been a great ride. We've played together for 2 years. It's sad it had to come to an end like that, but I had fun. Also shout out, especially to Burn and all the rest of the players who played with us for such a long time. Shout out to Garden Fungus. Shout out to KritzKast, and shout out to Wiethoofd. Yes, I think that's it.
Nice one. On to Cloudy. Any shout outs, mate?
Yeah. Shout out to Leo Rain. Shout out to Garfield the cat. Shout out to Toast. Shout out to CK. Shout out to, most importantly, shout out to Wiethoofd, because he's the man, honestly.
Yeah, big man doing production in the background. Domaytoe, any shout outs?
Shout out to Doctors of Mediocrity. Shout out to Lacrosse also for the Prem Roster Rider Medal. Furthermore, shout out to Toucans getting into Prem again. To Nos, Mezzo, to literally every Spyman watching, because you made the right choice in life. And yeah, I guess that kind of settles it. Also, shout out to Bülow. If you ever watch this, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Stinson, any shout outs?
I want to personally shout out, of course, for the enormous production value. It may not have been the most exciting award show, but it was definitely the prettiest one we had. So
agreed.
That was very nice, and I'm looking forward to see what he has in store for us at Copenhagen Games. Shout out to the ETF2L staff, everybody, all the admin. Especially shout out to Bloodus, who was promoted to head admin yesterday, in case you didn't notice. So he's going to be around. You should keep his name in your minds. Shout out to the Copenhagen Games staff. I'm looking forward to admin at the tournament. And shout out to Via.
Right, and I've left myself to last because I'm going to have a massive list. Shout out to Strong Opinions, everyone who's played. I had a fantastically fun season. Even though we didn't play that many games, it has been brilliant. And I just want to thank you for a great season as well to the other teams who've played. It's been really good. Failer for giving us such a really close game in the final. Absolutely insane. Shout out to Wiethoofd for all of the work he's done with KritzKast over the past season. We've had some seasons where there hasn't been much coverage of Highlander, and I know there's a lot of people who want it casted and want to watch it, and it's nice to have an outlet that's been so dedicated this past season to be able to do that. And to all the people I've casted with, for you guys for joining for the past 2 hours we've been sat here with our webcams on. Thank you for participating and being such great guests and co-hosts, and Stinson as well for taking his busy time out from adminning to join us and reveal the best players of the season. And thank you to you guys for watching and supporting Highlander. We will be back, of course, for season 15, and we'll see what happens, what changes in Prem. But keep your eyes peeled before that for the Copenhagen Games.
CeeJaey.
Yes, Clark.
Sorry to interrupt. I forgot one important thing. Shout out to HLPugs.tf. You can go to HLPugs.tf right now to play some video games.
Sponsored by
hold on. You can also yes, you can also go and play there right now. So go and do that.
Salute admin.
Shout out to Raptor.
And I was going to get to that, Cloudy. Wow, Raptor asked you as well, did he? Wow, I was going to be like, oh, shout out to my favorite Paladins player, Raptor. But you know what, Raptor? You're a shout out whore, asking multiple people. You know what? But thank you for watching, guys. Take care. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon.
Goodbye.